Hey everybody, welcome, and thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Brittle. I'm here with Laura Heck. Before we get started today, I've got a couple of book-related announcements for you. Number one is our book, Reconnect, is coming out next week on September the 10th. If you're thinking about picking that up, please go ahead and do that now. Pre-orders are a really great way to support the book, and we're really excited about it. Hope it'll be a valuable resource for you. Roll on over to marriagetherapyradio.com, click on the button we have there. That is our affiliate link, so that helps support the podcast as well. And I hope you'll pick that up. We're looking forward to sharing that with you. Another book-related announcement is that if you have already joined the book club at our Patreon, I'm going to start rolling that out this week. If you've not yet joined and that's something that you're interested in, please roll over again to marriagetherapyradio.com, click on the Patreon button, and become a member of our community. It is another great way to support the podcast, and we are coming up with more and more ways to share the behind-the-scenes stuff with you, including rolling out this book club from a book I wrote, 4 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm excited to share it with you. But again, now's the time, especially if you want to get started with this first round of folks that have already signed up. Again, thank you if you've already done that. And thanks to the rest of you who are about to come on board. We really appreciate you. For today, Laura and I are just batting around some ideas about what's come up for us personally and professionally in the last couple weeks. Hopefully you'll find a nugget or two that you can take away and apply in your own life and relationships. But for now, this is a very cool conversation. Stick around.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Go.
A couple of things that I want to accomplish today.
Okay.
I would like to get some support from our listeners. Maybe this will be something also that I'll put in Patreon so that folks can just write in. I can have that immediate feedback. I'm building my bucket list, and I really want to know, I have to have top 10 items that I want to accomplish in the next 10 years. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish it. They should be dreams, not actual things that I can accomplish, but I challenged one of my clients to do that, and I have to have I said, I will do it if you do it. And so we made a pact. And so now I have to hold up my end of the bargain, but I do need some support because I would love for other people to help me to dream a little bit bigger and get some feedback on some different bucket list things to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
That makes me think of two things. Number one.
Yes.
Makes me think of Patreon, which you guys, we've been having some conversations with folks about how to fund the podcast, stay on the air. And we're going to shift pretty hard, I think, into providing value through Patreon to our listeners, which is you. So thank you, all of you who have joined. And please, if you haven't, consider that. I want to tell you that I spent a little bit of my time this week getting ready for my book club, which is coming out cool. Really next week. I'm going to send the first email next week. And I had so much fun.
Really?
Yeah, I just made a little video when I went through kind of the origin story of the book, and I realized felt like I was just talking to my friends, which is who you are. So if you want to come behind the scenes with the book club, which is based on the book Marriage Therapy Journal, just know that I'm really jazzed about it, and I'm going to start sending those out this week. So now is a good time to join the Patreon at the Marriage Therapy Journal book club level. And we also just this morning interviewed Ryan and Laura.
That's my husband, in case you guys are wondering who Ryan is.
Yeah,
Zach is not my husband. If this is your first time listening,
who Ryan is.
I love, by the way, that you asked him of all of the Googles. If you go into the Google machine, how did you ask the question?
It was a trivia question, which maybe people out there in Radio Land, maybe you don't, but we have discerned that in the people who are looking to understand Marriage Therapy Radio on the journal, on the Google, the number one search thing is Laura Heck's husband. So we heard you. We understand that you want to know more about this guy, Ryan. And
what is the story?
I learned a lot about Ryan this morning. He's a good dude, and I'm happy for you. And we're going to be glad to share that interview again on Patreon. So if that's exciting to you, then that is something I want you to go over to marriagetherapyradio.com and click on our Patreon link, become a member, and that will help us stay on the air, and you get some cool behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say about that.
I already interviewed Zach and Rebecca. So that interview, we've had that for a while, but today was my chance to be on the other side getting interviewed. And it was really interesting. You asked him, what's your theory of healthy marriage or how to do marriage well? Yeah. And he pulled out his 3 R's so fast. I was like, what? Where did that come from?
Which you had never heard before. Anyway, we won't ruin them for you. But
Well, it's just a teaser. And then also you learned my favorite nickname that I like to be called by my
Yes, true.
husband.
I did learn
Yeah.
this.
Trivia, do you know the nickname that I call Ryan?
I don't.
It's Mr. Longfellow.
Great.
It makes him feel strong and proud.
And virile.
Yeah. I don't know why you
to
went there. I just said Longfellow. I don't know why you went there. That's
I have
really
no
weird.
idea. Why would my
I have
brain
no idea. I don't
talking
know.
to you gravitate in that direction?
We
I have
already talked
no-
about him being 6 feet tall. So,
Yeah, which
yeah,
it's
I don't know why
definitely
you
not.
went there. Okay.
Can I tell you a little bit of a win? Like, and it's kind of in this bucket list theme. So about a year ago, Mary, my then 16-year-old, broke up with us. Do you remember this? Like she sat us down at the table and said, "I don't want parents anymore. I'm done. I don't need you. I'm sick and tired of your oversight. This is not what I want, not what I need." And broke my heart. Absolutely broke my heart. I spent most of last fall in a spiral trying to figure out how to show up and be a parent in that context. She still lived in our house, but she didn't like eat meals with us. She didn't really talk to us. We didn't know anything about what's going on for school. She went to Korea for 2 weeks without us like
Yeah.
even
I
being
do
really a
remember
part
that.
of that whole scene.
Yeah, that was a hard time for you.
The day that she broke up with us, it was a Thursday. It was actually this Thursday. It was this today. It was this day.
Wow.
And the next day, I got, not the next day, but Saturday, so 2 days from now, I just got in my car and I drove out to the Gorge to see the Dave Matthews Band. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm. I don't.
I was like,
Dave Matthews is in Bend or at the Gorge right now.
He's at the Gorge this weekend.
Yeah, he was in Bend yesterday.
Yeah, so he's at the Gorge this weekend. Anyway,
okay.
I went out there. I was like, I just need to get away. I need to clear my head. I need to shake off some of this grief. I need to like just be in an environment that was totally. So I have a friend and she has a whole little like camping village up there. And you go up there and you kind of pull in and she took care of me for like 24 hours. It was amazing. And then I came home and then I had the whole fall. Tomorrow, Saturday, day after tomorrow, I am going back to the Gorge to see the Dave Matthews Band with Mary.
Yay.
Like I'm so happy about that. Like the year that we have had and the thing that is come about is a healing and a friendship and a restoration of this relationship. And I kind of said, hey, I didn't really go into the whole last year thing, but I said, hey, this is a bucket list item. Like you got to see Dave Matthews at the Gorge. You've got to go to the Gorge, which she's never been to.
Yeah.
Millions of people camping, jam band. But secretly she doesn't know that like it's a bucket list item for me that she's ticking off, which is to be kind of in a restored, connected relationship with my kid. And so I don't know. I wanted to share that when you said bucket list. I was planning to share it anyway, but like I used that language with her. And anyway, that's what I'm doing this weekend is I'm going back to see the Dave Matthews Band.
Did you get a little choked up just now?
Yeah,
I know. I saw that. that. Oh, you shook it off quickly because like
it's not really the main point. And I
Land.
didn't actually know I was feeling as emotional about it as I am. And she will not like want that or appreciate it. So I'm not going to be like, Mary, I'm so happy to be here at the Dave Matthews Band.
You're going to have a lot of walks to the porta potty while you shed your tears and come back fully like, I'm fine. Yeah. I'm fine.
Anyway, that's so maybe you put on your bucket list going to the Gorge to see the Dave Matthews Band over Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm staring at my wall because behind my computer screen is my whiteboard. And on my whiteboard, it has sort of like the big things that I'm paying attention to, the workshops that we're doing, the races that I have coming up. And then I have the book release on September 10th, which, by the way, you can pre-order a copy on Amazon.
And this is a different book. This is Laura and I's book. It's called Reconnect. It's a marriage counseling workbook, which we're really excited about and happy to share with you. I got a box. You got a box, right? We got a box of books.
I got a box. I've been slowly writing my name on each one with a little note and handing it to my special people.
That's sweet. You mean autographing it?
Yeah, I've been autographing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. When people are like, I would love an autographed copy. And my
Uh-huh.
response to them is, well, go ahead and buy it and bring it to
Bring
my
it over
door
and I'll
and
sign it
I
for you.
will sign it for you. um,
That's got to be so fun for you to like autograph your book. I mean, I've had this experience twice already, but no, it's not what I mean. But like, isn't it a cool feeling to be like, look at this thing that I'm putting my name on?
yeah. Yeah, it really is. And also, I believe in it. Like, I was just going to say, like, is it creepy? I am a huge fan of these two athletes in Bend who have their own podcasts that I listen to all the time. So we had a listener that wrote in, they're like, what are your guys' podcasts that you listen to? And the one that I listen to on the regular that I have already mentioned before is one, it's called That Tri Life, and it's a triathlon podcast. And it's these two professional athletes, and they just got married. They live down the road from me. I run by their house all the time. My best friend lives right next door. Is it creepy for me to autograph and write a note to them? I'm a stranger to them, but I know them as well as they have allowed themselves to be known on the podcast. And just say, like, happy marriage. I'm so excited for you. And by the way, here's this book that I wrote that I would love for you to have in your home. Is that creepy?
I don't think it's creepy. I think it's actually less creepy than you going to their home without a book. Do you know what I mean? You're like, hey,
yeah.
Listen, this might be creepy, but I was thinking of you because of exactly this. And by the way, here's this book I wanted to hand you. Versus knocking on their door and be like, are you the podcast triathletes?
Yeah. Totally. So, I'm not going to do that. I actually think it's creepy to go to someone's home to give them anything as kind as it is. Like, I know that they live there not because my friend is like, I know you're really into triathlons. Did you know these two professionals live next to me? And she said their names. I was like, I know everything about them. So anyway.
How close do they live to Hot Dad?
Well, Hot Dad lives, yes. Okay. So Hot Dad is down the hill. They live a mile away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you kill two birds with one stone.
By the way, Hot Dad got a copy of the book.
Oh, yeah?
And I did not write to Hot Dad in the cover of the book.
Right.
Because his wife also wrote a book and he handed me. So like we got to exchange books this year. She is also an athlete. So she wrote a book about being a female athlete, and I got a copy of her book and I'm reading it, and she got a copy of my book. It's pretty cool.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
But you were saying you believe in it. Like,
I do. I do. I'm really excited about this, actually. I mean, like I have couples that are kind of coming into my practice and they're in different stages of their life. And I am like, what's really great? I don't have to do much right now. All I have to do is just flip to that section of the book and be like, this is the life cycle that you're in. Let's have these conversations. Let's do these exercises. Let's start to build in some rituals. And it's been really cool. And also I talked to one of our CGT friends, our common friends, and he was telling me about this couple who is in sort of the phase of life where their kid has flown the coop and now they're alone and kind of reconnecting. And I was like, I've got just the thing for you. And he said, that's great. I'm going to send them to Amazon. They can buy the book.
Right on.
But here's what I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Here's the 4 things that I already have on my bucket list. And I would love for our listeners to also add in. And I've been kind of asking people this, and it's been really cool to be able to get their responses so that I can kind of go down the rabbit hole of researching. So here's the bucket list so far. One is to float the Grand Canyon. Okay. So Carl and Tom just got off, doing that. So
you have to do that like 2 years in advance or something. You got to
so it's like a week-long rafting trip.
But there's like a lottery.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I want to float the Grand Canyon. I want to backpack through Europe. And I think that the way I want to do it is on a bike. So like you ride your bike, you have your gear, and then you just kind of go hostel to hostel. I want to do a through hike across the Pacific Northwest. So going east to west, you start in Glacier and then you end on like the coast, basically like Bellingham-ish.
Okay.
I want to run the Grand Canyon rim to rim. This is actually something that's going to happen, I think, in the next year. So, but you notice a lot of these are very physically
all of them
oriented, all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm wanting a little bit of diversity.
I think you should go see Dave Matthews Band at the Gorge.
Okay. I did see him last year, but it was not at the Gorge. Go see Dave Matthews.
I'm not like, this is, by the way, I'm not like, I don't really think this. Obviously it has to have personal resonance for you if you care. But there's
Yeah.
bound to be like a band or a venue that you want to check off your bucket list. Maybe
Okay.
like the Hollywood Bowl or, I don't know, U2 or seeing something at the Sphere in Las Vegas. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming.
Sure.
By the way,
That's good.
I went to college in Virginia, and that's where Dave Matthews was getting kind of his career started. And he played every Wednesday night in a club called the Flood Zone. And we would go up, we would literally be in class on Wednesday and be like, you want to go, should we go tonight? And we'd pay like $6 at the door. And he would come on at like 9 and play till 2. It was crazy. I probably saw him 30 times in college.
Was he a big deal back then, or was he just
It
kind
was
of getting
becoming
his
a big
start?
deal. And it was kind of like our little band that we knew about. I saw him open for Toad the Wet Sprocket.
I have no idea who Toad the
Exactly.
Wet. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So he was an opener for a no-namer. And
well, they had a hot minute there in the 90s back when you were like 10. And they came out on stage and they were like, those guys are really good. Like they sort of knew
yeah.
They sort of knew that in that room they were not the headliner exactly. Anyway, but no, there's bound to be something you want to see, like Hamilton on Broadway, or I don't know, like there's got to be a.
Well, I kind of feel like I should running. Oh, here's another one that's on my bucket list, is to run all of the majors. I might have already mentioned that. So there's 5 majors. They call them the majors, marathons. And I'm doing one of them, New York. This year. And I'm doing London in 2 years. So that's 2 out of 5. But that's kind of a 5-parter bucket list, but that's on the one.
Still physical though. I was trying to get outside of the physical zone, right? Like,
I know. I get stuck in that.
You could here's one you could do.
Yeah.
I want to write a book and publish a book, and then you could like already check it off.
I totally can.
You could check it off in like 10 days.
Yeah. The way I was thinking about it and why this came about was, and I'll just tell you like the power of the bucket list. Maybe y'all can get like on sort of the bucket list train with me, is my client is really looking forward to doing this. It's like a very strenuous hike trip. It's a hunting trip that requires a great deal of hiking. And it's taken a lot of like mental planning for him to be able to sort of plan out like, how am I going to hike this? How am I going to get everything, like all the gear that I need? And then he has to physically get his body prepared to be able to do such a strenuous hike. It's a lot of elevation gain. He's going to be out in the wilderness. And then, you have to figure out how to get your game back, right? And he said, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm really terrified, like what happens when this is done and over with. And I've heard these stories. I don't know if you've heard this, that there's like a grieving process that happens on the other side of a wedding. There's so much that goes in for a full year for many people to plan a wedding. And then when it happens, you're grieving the loss of like not looking forward to that any longer. And I said, well, cool. Then we should just start having one thing a year that
should have
takes a next thing for you. But something that actually takes a lot of time and energy, whether it be mental preparation. Like if you're going to do a through hike, that takes a ton of research to be able to figure out how you're going to do that. And so that's kind of where I'm at, is like, how can you round out your life and give you something other than, keeping kids fed and the mortgage paid and all of that, your wife happy? What's something else that you can put your mental load on that's fun and energizing for you? And that's where this list started.
Yeah.
So
I'm into it.
Okay. Run the majors.
I think you need a thing. We've talked about this before. You need a thing. You need a next. You need something that kind of keeps you grounded as a person and directed directed in a direction, oriented in a specific kind of direction. So
I think it keeps you, we've said this, like as long as you're interested in something, it makes you interesting as a human being.
Sure.
And that is something that as a wife, I want my husband to find me interesting. And if that's the case, then that's on me. I need to be interested in something in order to be interesting to someone else. And so I think that, it's a new hobby. You've seen me evolve into this new hobby of endurance sports. And I think that's pretty cool. Something musical. Like maybe I'll learn how to play the cello.
Okay. Right
on. Hey, you know that we were just recording with my husband.
Yes,
and while we were recording,
like an hour ago. Yeah.
Grandma took Holden to go get his hair cut because
Okay.
school's starting.
Yep.
He came home with a mullet.
Oh my God. Why?
I laughed so hard when I saw him, and it turns out that Holden and Dad had made like a secret like pact. We're like, go get a mullet, buddy. And because it never would have happened on my watch. So now my son is going to start the 4th grade with a mullet. I couldn't be prouder.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that came from a secret pact and not from your grandmother, from grandma like hijacking the experience.
No, not at all. I'm sure Grandma was like, your mom's going to kill me. She's going to kill me. I'm going to come home and I'm never, ever going to have Sunday dinners with her again.
I wanted to talk about something from the podcast that we recorded this morning, which is, what's this thing about your hearing?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Yep. It is legitimate that I could have some hearing loss. Like the people in my life are just now starting to point out the things that I'm doing. And I have old ladyisms where I say, huh? A lot.
Yeah.
Huh? Or with my clients, I'm constantly like, wait. You got to turn your mic up, turn your mic up, turn your mic. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I repeat things back to people a lot, which I didn't realize that I do. Huh. It's kind of a unconscious thing. And I don't know, like Ryan's starting to put the pieces together and he's just like, babe, I think you are not hearing well. And we really need to get you tested, not just at the level that it's like high pitches, low pitches, but the type of testing that they do for Holden. He goes in every 3 months to check his hearing to see how the tumors are impacting it. And they can actually see the frequencies. So it's not even hearing related. It's like electrodes. So, yep.
The reason I thought of it is because, I don't know if this is our topic for today, but
it's going to have to be. We're 20 minutes in.
Well, I was having a little bit of an existential crisis about topics because I feel like I'm really clear right now that like the number one thing you can do for your relationship is take care of your own side of the street. So everybody's like, what's your best relationship of like get your shit together, like
totally
like, well, that doesn't help me argue, or that doesn't help me communicate, or that doesn't help me, have more sex. And I'm like, actually it does, but it's not in the way that you think. But the reason I thought of it is because I use this metaphor a lot when people are talking about their partners driving them crazy. Maybe because they have ADD, or maybe because they're distracted, or maybe they have like depression, or maybe they have usually it's a mental health kind of thing. And that's in the way of the relationship. And then I use the metaphor of saying, hey, I might say to those people, well, have you gone to the doctor? Did you get medication for your depression? And they'll be like, no, I don't want to take medication. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. If you were going blind, or if you were, if you had arthritis, would you say the same thing? Would you not take medication? And they would go, no, of course I would do that. But then I was listening to Ryan talk about your hearing, and I was like, wait, Laura, are you supposed to get tested? Why don't you get tested? Why don't you take care of your shit? Like, why don't you go get your ears?
Yeah.
It's sort of like I sort of bumped into this metaphor that I use, which is it's not so much that you're using, I don't even need to make it about you, but it's not so much that you're losing your hearing and making it hard for people to communicate with you. It's that you're losing your hearing and not doing anything about it. And again, this doesn't have to be specifically you, but if you're depressed and not doing anything about it, or if you have ADD and you're not doing anything about it, or if you're
explosive, like you have anger,
and you're not doing
irritability.
anything about it.
Yeah.
That is actually the thing that's harmful to the relationship. It's not the thing. It's not the thing that's harmful, or like alcohol use, or like drug use. Like
it could be.
I have a guy who's like, he's like, I'm fine with my drug use. And I'm like, well, she's not.
Yeah.
So you could debate whether or not you use it or not, you too much or too little, but the fact that you're not doing anything about it is harmful to her and to the relationship.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, that's what kind of crept into my head, because you sort of joked, you were like, yeah, I'm supposed to go get tested and I haven't. And I understand all of the nuances of that. That's not my point. But I think we need to appreciate and address that what makes relationships stronger is people's responsiveness to the stresses on the relationship. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so that is 100% the question that I had, which is, if Ryan and Holden are both like, ha, you totally got it wrong. So what happened was, and I thought this was hilarious. This happened yesterday. It was a great example. Um, I walk into the pantry. My son says, what was it? It was, what do you want to paint next?
Yeah, will you paint with
yeah.
me?
Will you paint with me? Or what do you want to paint next? We've been painting dragons in the kitchen. And he says, what do you want to paint with me? And I'm in the pantry and I am not looking at him. So I think what's going on is I'm actually doing a lot of lip reading, like looking at people. And that's the compensation. If I'm in the other room, I can't actually hear very well. And I come
And
out
you
of the
said,
pantry and I said, I was just thinking maybe we could make some banana bread. Because I thought he said, do you want to bake with me?
Yeah.
Either way. Okay. Paint, bake, so similar. But it's the responsiveness is what you just said. And here's where it's like, at what point do you turn towards your partner's request? Like, how many times do they have to say, get your shit together, or this is making me uncomfortable, or I don't like this? Like, how many times do you have to say, this is not okay for the relationship, or I need you to go and get this checked out? And because what I'm looking at is I'm kind of like, here's the deal. The hearing is not actually that big of a deal on the relationship at all. Doesn't negatively impact it yet, right?
Yeah.
But if it was something, let's just say sleep, like I'm not resting well and I'm not getting good sleep. And my partner keeps saying, the impact of you not getting good sleep is making you irritable. You have less patience for me, less empathy. You're yelling at the kids. You're like unable to stay up past 7 o'clock and like do life with us. And it's kind of like, what's the tipping point at some point when you decide that now it's something you want to take care of? And I think what I hear you saying is it doesn't matter whether or not you think it's a problem. If you're in a relationship with another person and they say, this is a problem for me, it's the responsiveness that you have to their needs, not whether or not you decide it's a problem for you.
Yeah. And
correct?
It's sort of. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of nuance here, right? Because I am fond of saying, if the bar I set for you, Laura, is 3 feet high, and the bar you've set for yourself is 2 feet high,
Sure.
there's 1 foot of resentment that you get to indulge if you want, right?
Okay.
If I set the bar for you at 3 feet and your bar that you've set for yourself is at 4 feet, you get to go, no problem, Zach. No problem, Ryan. I got you. Like, my bar is at 4 feet. Yours is at 3.
Yeah.
You know, so the hard part is when I set the bar for you higher than you've set it for yourself.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't advocate for saying, hey, if your partner thinks you should then you should
Okay.
But what I would say is, if you care about harmony and connection in the relationship and your partner says, hey, this is in the way of harmony and connection.
Yeah.
What I would argue is that the bar is not relative to your hearing, it's relative to your connection. Do you know what I mean? So this is especially relevant again with kind of this substance use situation, because I don't know how many times you and I have gotten into arguments with couples who are trying to debate whether one of them drinks too much, because she'll say, you have 3 drinks a night. He's like, it's only 2 drinks a night. And then she's like, actually it's 4. He's like, well, the last one doesn't count because I don't ever finish it. Or like whatever this weird, like mathematical conversation they get into is about.
Yeah.
Because what she's really trying to say is, I don't feel connected to you in the evenings. And if you care about that, let me tell you one of the culprits. The culprit is the second you pour your second drink, I get anxious. And if he cares about the bar of connection in this fake scenario that I've made up, they won't debate math. They won't talk about whether or not, well, this actually only has an alcohol by ABV of like 0.75 or whatever. Yeah. It's dumb. That mathematical conversations are dumb. But
they are.
But it really is, I think, you know, it's this whole concept again of turning toward. Your partner says, hey, this isn't working for me. And do you turn toward that reality, or do you make it about something else, which is, I think, where people get into trouble.
So what if the answer is straight up no? Nope. I don't want to
role play
take
it out for
care
me
of,
for a second. Like,
we can go with the alcohol. We can go with, let's go with sleep.
Okay.
You say to your partner, hey, like this is really impacting our connection. It's impacting our children. It's impacting how you're showing up in the marriage. And I think you're kind of on a downward slide. And I'd really love for you to go get sleep testing. I'd love for you to stop drinking at night. I'd love for you to clean up your sleep hygiene. Right. And the answer is no. Like, I'm not interested in doing that. I have so many other priorities, and I don't think that this is an issue. And I don't want to do that.
Okay. So if I'm the respondent in that situation, or I'm coaching the respondent in that situation, this is what I think I would point toward, which is to go, okay, all right, well, you're an adult and you get to decide whether or not you're going to go to the doctor and get your sleep hygiene checked out. And I hear you saying that you're not going to do that, but that you have to appreciate that now comes with consequences. That comes with outcomes, meaning I'm not going to feel connected to you. I'm not going to want to sleep with you. I'm probably going to just, I don't know, there's lots of consequences, right? Like I'm going to make you sleep in a different room, or I'm going to be sad. I just know I'm just going to be sad about that. And that's going to keep me from feeling like I want to like be an active part of your life. Like, and there's gentle and gradual ways you build that into the reality. But if you say, hey, this is an issue for me, and your partner says, well, I'm not going to do anything about it, I think the reality is that has natural consequences. The key is to stay as close to your own personal dignity and integrity and like functional adulthood as possible in responding to that. Where you know, because you could be like, oh, you're not going to get it checked out? Well, then, you know, F you, or then well, then I'm going to do this. Or, you know, I'm going to do this. Sometimes it looks like, well, I'm going to have an affair. Maybe I don't even tell you. Like, I'm just going to, but, you know, you got to stay inside of your integrity and your dignity and your adulthood in responding to the disappointment of having someone who's not going to turn toward you.
Take care of their side of the street.
The other thing is, like, over time, you may have to face whether or not you're willing to stay in a relationship where somebody's not willing to turn toward the need that you're expressing. Like, I'm not an advocate for divorce, but you know, when people when they refuse to change, that presents a totally different reality, which is, okay, fine. Am I going to stay in a relationship where you refuse to change? Or am I going to go ahead and do myself the favor of not being in a relationship with someone who cannot change on behalf of my need in this relationship?
I'm thinking a lot about mostly just mental health of in relationship. Like when we got together, this wasn't a thing. You weren't depressed. You weren't, you know, whatever. And now we're together, and now there's mental health issues cropping up. And there's a lot of, I need you to pay attention to your mental health. It's now impacting me. It's impacting our family. And when I think about doing life together, it is a total, like, we have to come to an agreement as to what we are doing here. And when I'm impacting you and you're asking for me to change and I'm unwilling to play that game, now we're not talking about us anymore. Now we're just talking about you. And so that's mostly what I'm seeing in my practice is mostly mental health and the lack of desire to pay attention to it, to take care of it, to see a psychiatrist, a therapist.
Well, it's daunting and it's discouraging because often you can't make the kind of progress you want to make quickly. I think there's also this thing that like cancer is a really good example of culturally how we've decided that we're going to fight cancer. We're going to beat cancer. We're going to kick cancer's ass. And so that's a thing that's in the zeitgeist. That doesn't really happen for anxiety or for depression or for ADD or for, you know, I mean, and so somehow we need to decide if that's going to be an attitude that we take on. We go, you know what, I'm going to kick depression's ass, or I'm going to kick anxiety's ass. We are going to do that. But it's, you know, it's shameful and embarrassing and paralyzing and all of that. So it is a challenge, but I think when couples can tap into we're fighting this thing together, at least it gives them a sense of like, we have a common enemy. But if
Yeah.
it's just you over there dealing with your stuff that you're not dealing with, that's incredibly isolating for, both partners, honestly.
Yeah. We have a common enemy. I've been working. I have a couple that is just doing such a freaking fantastic job of
Freaking
not
fantastic.
freaking fantastic. I'm so proud of them. And part of what we have done is we have named the enemy. Like the enemy has a name.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we'll just call it like anxiety, Amy the anxiety pops in. And if you're listening to this and you're like, why'd you just use my name? I'm not. I'm thinking of another client. talking to my clients that I know are listeners. But like when Amy anxiety shows up, they name it, and that's the common enemy. And what I'm thinking about is another couple where there is just, they can't even have a common enemy because there is a total lack of acknowledgement that Amy anxiety even exists. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they only can battle against each other because they're not willing to even identify and say, you're right, there's something going on inside of me that is impacting this relationship. Instead, it's you are the reason that I am miserable. And I'm like, I actually think you're miserable because you've got these things that you're not willing to acknowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good
It's
times.
an interesting topic. Good
Yeah.
times.
When you said that, Amy anxiety, I'll kill two birds here. Talking about what podcast are we listening to right now? I'm obsessed with one. It's called Join the Party.
Huh.
And it's a bunch of.
By the way, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
Did you hear the finale of who shit on the floor? Yeah. I saw that pop up on my feed, and I was like, oh, I bet Zach is so excited.
Totally, 100%.
Was it
that was like
who
2
you
years
thought
ago.
it was going to be? Was it?
They never figured it out.
Oh.
They didn't figure it out.
Hold on. So this is a real thing. Can you just give a background just for a second?
There's a podcast called Who Shat on the Floor at My Wedding. It's these two Australian ladies who got married on a boat. And during the course of the wedding, someone shat on the floor of the bathroom.
100% that would have been me. Like I would have been the person.
And they do a whole series with their friend who enrolls in a online private detective class, so she can like be the detective. And so the series is them interviewing all the different people and trying to figure out who shat on the floor at my wedding. And spoiler alert, they don't figure out who the culprit is. They don't. Is
that a real? Is it fictional or is this like?
No, it's real. It's real. Yeah.
Oh, it's
these
fantastic.
two ladies and their friend. They go and they do this investigative journalism thing where they try to figure out who shat on the floor at my wedding. So
legit, I think that this is this is quite literally the example of a bucket list where they're like, we just need something else to focus on other than our daily grind.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's take an entire year and figure out this one moment in time. Okay.
Yeah. They have a pretty good idea, but they couldn't confirm it. Okay. Anyway, I'm listening to this podcast called Join the Party, and it's 4 people just playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like that's all they're doing.
Perfect.
And I am obsessed. And remember when we talked to Emily Nagoski and she was like, this is what I do. I sit around and I watch people play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, now I'm going to definitely play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to figure out how to do that with some friends in my neighborhood probably. And but what's cool about it is they have a Patreon page, and their one of their commitments to their Patreon people is we will name characters after you.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
If I give them money on their Patreon, like one of the ogres that comes in is going to be Zach the Magnificent, or something like that. And so I'm interested. Like what we should do with our Patreon people is if you join the Patreon community, we will name diseases after you, like Amy anxiety and
Amy anxiety.
In fact, you know what? Amy, thank you so much for being a Patreon member. You're welcome for naming the anxiety after you already. We already did it.
Yep, it happened.
So, but seriously, please do that. You can go to marriagetherapyradio.com. Our Patreon page is there. My book club rolls out next week around the Marriage Therapy Journal. We're going to do another one when that's finished around our new book, which is called Reconnect. You can purchase that on Amazon right now. We have a whole bunch of interviews with relationship experts, including my wife, Rebecca, and Laura's husband, Ryan. And there's just a lot of cool stuff over there, and we're committed to building that out, and we need your help. So take a few minutes right now just to go over there and click those buttons, and we'll be grateful for you. We already are.
Click those buttons.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's land this plane. I'm going to go to Costco, and then I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to do
heard
an
about
open
that.
water swim,
Cool.
which is good for the training. I have
I
1 month until my, yes, you.
I finished my marathon yesterday, my August marathon yesterday, and I expect to finish 30 miles in the pool in August tomorrow night. And then Saturday, I drive to the Gorge with Mary to go see the Dave Matthews Band, which is going to be fantastic.
Hey,
Yeah.
will you take pictures? I know you will.
100%. We'll put them on the Insta or the Patreon, and we'll let you into that little piece of our lives. All right.
That's awesome. All right. Adios.
See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. Thanks for all of our listeners. Thank you to Amy for being a Patreon subscriber. You can do that by going to our website, marriagetherapyradio.com. Click on the tab that says Patreon, and you can get all of the exclusive content for signing up at the appropriate tier. Thanks for all of your time and attention, making your relationship better today than it was yesterday.